Hi, welcome to the Catholic Corner. I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. I'm here at a marvelous, marvelous sacred place. Several Sources Shelter in Ramsey, New Jersey. We're going to do today part one of a two-part special with Kathy DeFiore. Kathy's the founder and president of Several Sources Shelters, which was an inspiration for a tremendous, recently released major motion picture, Gimme Shelter. Several Sources shelters young mothers while providing education and ongoing compassionate support services. It shelters women who are homeless, sometimes sick, elderly women, helping them all to restore their dignity as God wants all of us to be dignified. Along with Kathy, joining me today in this part one of the program is Maritza Christian. Maritza,
how you doing?
You're a lovely 23-year-old.
Yes.
And with us is a couple of beautiful little saints of God, Samaya and Zamir Christian. They live here. They live at this sacred place, Several Sources. Maritza's going to tell us just how Several Sources helped her and her children, and especially her son Zamir. God bless you all. Welcome to the Catholic Corner.
Thank you, Monsignor. It's just such a joy to have you finally visiting us.
I know. I still remember when we first met, but that's maybe another program.
Yes.
Tell me, let's go kind of back a little bit. What inspired you to start a shelter for women in special needs?
Well, I found myself at one point in my life homeless.
You yourself were homeless.
Yeah, I hide that. I don't tell that. You didn't know that. It wasn't a pleasant time in my life. I had great parents, great grandparents, but made a dumb decision when it came to the man to marry. And he was abusive, and the marriage only lasted 7, maybe 8 years, and I had to walk out one day. And when I left, all I had was the clothes on my back and my purse. Basically, I had nowhere to go except a friend's house. And like these girls, I just went from bed to bed, friend to friend, until finally I got stable enough, a good enough job, and I always had God with me. My mom and my dad, my grandparents had always instilled the love of God, daily mass. It was just love the rosary. So I took the Lord with me in my homelessness. But when I had a home again, I said, I have a little house here. I made a check out to God. I wrote on the table, on a blank sheet of paper, a check to God, put the date, everything I have, and in the memo, whatever you want me to do. And this is what he wanted me to do, help these young mothers and their babies. That's what he kind of inspired me to do.
So this hound of heaven and you formed a business together.
Yeah.
What a step.
Yeah, it was a step, but when you have a child that's been saved, from abortion, you're holding someone that's destined, I think, to do wonderful things for God, and it fills you up with such joy and such peace. Nothing can replace it. It's kind of like Peter and the apostles. When Jesus was talking to them, and the Lord talked to them about leaving, and Peter said, "Where will I go?" It doesn't get any better than this.
That's right.
So I'm very happy with what I do.
A long time ago in the Old Testament, that book Ecclesiastes, Kohelet they call it, he says vanity of vanity, everything's vanity. He's really kind of saying that I know there's a lot of love and there's a lot of things we love to do, but he really, I think, was saying that, when it's all based in God, then we feel that peace and that joy. If not, then everything else is what it is, it is. It's just material things. Did you ever dream, though, when this all started? I know you wrote the check to God, but did you ever dream that this would just keep growing? Or did you think, I brought in somebody to give him a little break? Did you have any dream that this would continue and continue?
I just left it in God's hands. I actually had a phrase that, sounds a little odd. It's Bethlehem, not Jerusalem, I would say. I wanted to keep it small because I felt what the mothers needed was a home. in the sense of, no notoriety, meeting, pastors like yourself, at St. Paul's back in Princeton. That was the biggest notoriety we had. We never went on talk shows, and I just wanted them to feel family. And no. Eventually somebody gave me another house. Pastor gave me his convent, this archdiocese. So it grew that way. And I was happy with that because we could help more mothers. But no, definitely nothing like what's happening today.
And a motion picture?
I still don't believe it happened. It's been 4 years in the making. I just, I can't believe James Earl Jones was actually in this very room playing the part of the priest. And, it seems like somebody else's life. It's not us, not our lives. And you look at the pictures and you look at the motion picture and you go, yeah, there you go. There's a statue of Jesus with no hands. It was definitely in this living room.
Miracles and miracles and more miracles.
Yeah, what I don't always remember is that in the memo of that check, I said, whatever you want. So I guess he wanted a movie.
Some of the rough times, you talk about God, but God
Don't do that.
God sends angels and God puts people in the place. I'm just always convinced that wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with another beautiful woman, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who is just a marvelous, marvelous human person that went to God.
She was our angel. I didn't know that taking unwed mothers into your home was illegal in New Jersey. You could only, back in 1981, when I started, there was a law that said you could have one unrelated person living with you in your own house. 2, you were breaking the law. So at one point I had 4 young mothers living with me and a baby. So I was, way out of line, and I got a $10,000 fine. $10,000 from the state of New Jersey. Well, it went on for 15 months. Every state senator, every assemblyman voted to amend the bill so that people like me could help others in need, and then the governor was going to veto it. And I was so distraught, I went to bed. But just before I went to bed, I saw on TV Mother Teresa with John Cardinal O'Connor. She was opening up an AIDS hospice in Manhattan. But I cried that night. I thought, I don't know how I'm going to overcome this. The governor's going to veto the legislation. It's impossible. And the next morning when I woke up, on my prayers, I heard contact Mother Teresa. And I thought, I saw her on TV the night before. I just was, your mind wanders in your prayers, But then when I was at the kitchen table at the house, I heard a screaming voice in my head, contact Mother Teresa. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And I had met somebody in Washington who worked in her soup kitchen. He gave me a business card, put his home number on it, said, if you ever need me, call me. One phone call. His wife answered the phone. She says, Drew was with Mother Teresa last night. I said, you've got to be kidding. God bless you, child. It's the truth. 4 phone calls later, we're on the phone with Mother Teresa. She said, I'll do anything. I'll write a letter. I'll visit. I'll make the phone call. You are doing God's work. That's why I'm in the United States, to help the preborn, the unborn.
Okay.
She's accepting an award at the United Nations. Next thing you know, she had to write a letter. That letter, he signed the bill into law. The rest is history.
Wow.
And this is the work that she helped start.
The power of the Spirit that keeps coming through and keeps coming through. How does the shelters operate, Kathy? It just doesn't happen. Enough things happen to you. I'm sure there's other ways to keep the organization going. I don't know, are there rules? Are there anybody else helping you?
We have house mothers. That law requires us to have live-in staff, so we have house mothers. The girls have 32 rules they have to live by. Actually, we're remodeling the rules. Some of them are a little ancient now. We've got to update them. And the babies are allowed to be babies. We have baby-saving babies, which is little Zamaya here. The babies go to daycare. And the mothers can go to school. We have a benefactor that pays for college.
Wow.
Let's go.
So wonderful people. It's become like its own little world universe. But the most important part is, like right here in this room yesterday, we had Bible study. Is I always tell the girls, we don't want you just to save your baby's body. We want you to learn enough about God that you can teach them, and they're going to live their lives according to His laws. And that'll make you an easier parent, because when you are talking to your child when they're 16 and 17, they don't want to listen. If they respect God, you can say, well, what would Jesus do? What's in the Bible?
And it starts
Don't worry
when it
about
is
me.
big. Yeah.
Worry about God.
Well, how many folks like live in a house? The house mothers and
Okay, well, the house mothers don't count, but by state law, we can have up to 6
okay.
mothers and babies. So right now, Maritza and her 2 children would be half a house. But then I'm like a air traffic controller with pregnant women flying over all the houses. We have 4 shelters, so I'm like, okay, this one's pregnant, so that only counts for 1. And then this one's having her baby. Okay, there's 2. Oh my God, she's having twins. Triplets? Oh my God. You never know what's going to happen around here.
Maritza, tell me, how did you find yourself, in need of several sources?
I found this place. I was living in a home, and she was a very nice lady, whatever. And we was having a good communication, but then she needed help with the rent. So I was helping her with the rent, but every month she was changing the rent. So I said, "Oh my God, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna do it?" And then I felt like nauseous and stuff as the days go by. So I found out I was pregnant, and I'm like, oh my, and I was very, very like very upset with myself because I didn't know I was pregnant. And I just thought it was just something that I ate or something that, just something normal. So then I said, how am I going to take care of another baby? And I have my daughter already. She was just turning 1. So I was going to have an abortion. I was thinking about go get one because my son's father wasn't a part of his life. And my daughter's father was incarcerated. Well, still is incarcerated. So I couldn't do it by myself. So I went to 15 Inglewood Street. I believe it. That's the address. And I went there for the first time. And I went upstairs. I signed my name in. I went upstairs. They took my urine test and they did blood work and all that stuff. The doctor came in and he couldn't see my placenta. So he looked maybe about like 3 or 4 times and he couldn't see my placenta. So I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, I'm trying to see if I could see your placenta so I could see if it's easy enough to do the procedure. So he said, I need you to go to Inglewood Hospital. So I said, oh man, because I'm so anxious to get this abortion because I just didn't want to waste no more time. So I go to the hospital and the doctor, the sonogram, said, oh, I can see it perfectly fine. Take these papers and bring them back to the abortion clinic. So I called them up and they was closed, but this lady answered and she said, okay, come upstairs. I'll take the papers. So I go upstairs and she said, come tomorrow in the morning time, early in the morning, and then I'll make sure that you're the first one there. So I said, okay, great. My appointment was at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I go there with a friend because nobody didn't want to go with me for some reason. My sister, she lived all the way in Newark, so she couldn't come with me. And I didn't want to tell my dad or my mom or anything because I know that I didn't want to know I was pregnant with a second kid. So I told my friend to come with me, and she tells me to bring my daughter because she never saw her before in a long time. So I said, okay, I'll bring her. So I bring her, and I'm by myself, and I see all these sidewalk counselors outside. And I'm like, well, what is all these people outside for? And she's like, and she had an abortion before, so she knew what it was. So she said, oh, no, they're nobody. Just go straight through the doors. Don't worry about what they're saying. So I said, okay. So I'm like, come with me, just to make sure I'm okay, whatever. So she comes with me, and I have my daughter in a carrier, like a car seat. And so I'm taking her to the door, and this lady named Maureen, and as today I still talk to this lady. And she holds my hand. She holds me, and she said, "What are you doing?" No. She said, "What are you here for?" And I just said flat out, "I'm here to have an abortion. I can't do it. I can't take care of 2 kids." And I'm crying to her saying this thing to me. And she's like, "No, but what are you doing? You have this beautiful baby girl, and now you're gonna kill another one inside you?" She said, "God will never forgive you." I said, "Oh yes, He is gonna forgive me." I said, "I just can't do it right now." I said, "I can't take care of 2 kids, and I can't do it." So she said, "Come with me across the street to our Gift of Hope." And I said, "What is that?" She said, "Just come with me." And I said, "Well, my appointment's at 10 o'clock, so you only have like 15 minutes to tell me about it. You only have 15 minutes because what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get my abortion and to be done with it." So she brings me across the street, and my appointment was at 10 o'clock. I stayed all the way to 5 o'clock at night, talking to them and telling my problems, and, there's a whole 9 yards. A person there, the boss there, Michael Moore, he was he was the boss there at the time, and he went to help me look for all these shelters, and he talked to me about like 4 or 5, and the last one was several choices, and the woman Wendy Welber at the time said that she didn't find no room for me, so she said, "I don't think I could take her in." So then that was the last hope. So we had nowhere to go. And then she called and she said, I have room. So that day I came here, and I thought, and I was scared. I didn't know what I was thinking about. I was like, these people are going to they're going to take my baby. They're going to kidnap me. Who are these people? My dad, they were strangers. So I came here, and that's when I met Kathy DeFiore, and she welcomed me with open arms. And she showed me the house, and she told me what she was about. We was talking about some passages in the book about Noah's Ark, and about, about her place and what she does here for a living. And since then, I became one of the family. And then I had my beautiful boy, Zamir. He's a month and a week now, and he's like the best part of my life. And I feel like if I never brought my daughter there, I wouldn't have my son. Because in the abortion clinic, you're not supposed to bring no kids there. And to today, I always wonder why would I bring my daughter to somewhere to kill her brother or sister, Yeah. So I never thought about that, because I know I would never do it, but I still can't believe I would do it, going there. And I don't know, but then I thank God that happened just like that, because if not, I would have not had my son till today. Now I only have my daughter. But then I always thought to myself, why? But if my daughter would never forgive me about, her finding out later in life, like, oh, I had a brother or sister and you killed my brother or sister, that she could bond with.
That's a real story of God, don't you?
Yes.
What I was thinking when you were talking? When you said 15 minutes? You could almost say, 15 minutes saved a life.
Yeah.
There's a kind of connections with 15 minutes sometimes. That's it's unbelievable. Beautiful story, honey.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell me, now you're here with family. I mean, this is your family.
Yeah.
What's it like for you? I mean, you got that smile. Your eyes are all twinkling. You got look at the 2 youngsters. It's like,
it's amazing. I'm so thankful to have somebody to love me. I never really thought, a certain thing. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry, because it will always touch me, and maybe to the day I die, it will always touch me, because it's just so amazing how you have people that are outside this world that you never thought could love or take care, do anything for you, no matter what it is, and it's just amazing, like, if I never went to that abortion clinic, and if I would have said, you know what, I'm gonna have my son, like, I wouldn't even know where I would have been at right now. I would have just been in a depressed moment, because I wouldn't know how to take care of them.
You said you're so thankful.
Yeah.
We're so thankful.
Yeah, we're so thankful.
And it's a great gift, to know that what we share together, because we're all God's sons and daughters,
Yes.
and we're all His family, and and then we start to realize that's what the peace is all about.
Yes.
Tell me something that. You said that you found love. It's a great gift of life that I wish everybody has. And it's the gift that the Christ God gave to us through the Father. And the gift really is simple as saying that, you know what? I can love and I can be loved. And they have to go together. They have to go together somehow. And when I look at your little children and Kathy and yourself, you realize that that's what's happening. You know, I know I can love, but I know I can be loved. And that's the living presence of God all the time. So tell me now you're your mom, kind of twice over. I hear you do a little counseling yourself.
Yes, I do. Since all that happened, you know, I wanted to spread the seed for other girls to know that they're not alone in this, and that there is help out there. You know, some women don't even know that we exist. Some people don't even know who we are, you know? And I feel like me standing out there with a couple other people, not just myself, but it's just not only me that speaks, and we put the word into these females' heads to know that there is help out there. And one time I was pregnant and I was standing outside and I had these two couples coming up, have an abortion. And I did not talk to these couples. I did not do nothing to these couples at all. And then they came out of the abortion clinic, right? And they came up to me. They said, you know, where can I get help at? And I said, up across the street. I'll come with you. I'm maybe about like 6 months pregnant at the time, right? So I'll go upstairs, whatever, and you know they saved their baby. So I asked every person that I ever talked to, I always asked them what made you change to save your baby? And he said, because of you. And he looked at my stomach. He said, because if you go stand out there, talk to these females, and you're a single parent, if you could do it, why can't we do it? And he just brought me to tears because I always ask God, why am I here for? You know, why am I talking to these women? Like, what story do I have that these women don't have? And he answered my question that same day. He said, basically he's telling me, Maritza, I put you here for a reason, to either talk to these females, to let them know that they're not alone, you know, let them know that there is help out there and there is love out there. And you know, you're just not alone. And you're just getting sucked in by the devil, but there is always a way out, you know, and that was his way out.
You like that, the prophetess who said, "Here I am, Lord."
Yes.
You know, speak. Kathy, tell me a little bit. How long can people like Maritza stay here? I mean, you have some rules? I don't know.
I don't tell them at time they have to leave. When I first started, I'd say, "Oh, you can stay a year," but then I realized that's not the way God wants me to operate. You know, they've got to feel right about their lives and what they're doing, and we'll guide them. You know, we'll say, gee, I'm really getting to the point. Like, the benefactor pays for them to get a driver's license. And then we've had a couple cars donated recently, and then we'll see, well, you could get it at free education. So now you're probably starting to think that maybe you can move out on your own, and they get itchy. Living, you know, in a shelter isn't, I mean, even though it's a beautiful place and they have friends and everything, they get to a certain point.
But isn't
Usually
that
when the baby's
natural?
about
We
18
all want
months
that.
old.
We all
Yeah.
want to kind of be on our own in a sense. You know? Yeah. That's going from your Bethlehem to Jerusalem. Because we all want to go. Because the Lord said, I can't stay up on a mountain. I got to go to Jerusalem.
Right.
That's part of our nature.
I never thought of it
You
that
know?
way.
Is there a waiting list? I mean, what happened? I mean, Maritza
Absolutely.
was telling me that
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know she come out and God, there's a place here for her,
Yeah.
but there's a waiting list.
Absolutely.
What kind of a waiting list?
Well, it's a funny kind of a waiting list because not only are there women waiting to get here, like right now there's about 4, but we help women all over the country, and there aren't enough shelters. So there's waiting lists to help women in Florida, you know, in Arizona, and we have to do very creative things. So
Now, are these shelters part of your?
No,
these
there
are,
are only 550 shelters for pregnant women in the whole United States. If anybody's listening, they can go to the website, lifecall.org, and they'll see all 550 that I know of. Somebody
so
listening.
there is this networking that's going on.
Well, they're on our website. So we research, here's one, you know, but we need more. We need more shelters.
Well, we're going to get more shelters. We got to keep going and keep blessing, and know that many ways things like yourself and the movie Gimme Shelter help to spread the word of your message. I guess we're ready to kind of realize just how much love we do have here and how much blessings we do have. Next week, join us for part 2 of the special with Kathy DeFiore and several sources, the inspiration behind the movie Gimme Shelter. For next week, Kathy will join us again, along with Darlisha Dossier, Dalisha was the main inspiration behind Apple, the main character in Gimme Shelter, played by Vanessa Hudgens. And also joining next week will be one of the newer moms at Several Sources, Desiree Franklin. Desiree was inspired to come to the shelter to save her baby after watching the Gimme Shelter trailer. Bless you. God love you. Let us all pray together for the goodness of life and love and God. For more information about Several Sources, please, severalsources.net. God bless.